Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Capril. I have a client who, from time to time, she'll call me and she'll say, I know what you're going to say. I just need to hear you say it. What she's referring to is when we go through bad economic periods, stock markets are down, etc. She finds what I have to say to be somewhat reassuring. And I guess that's because I've been saying it long enough that I guess what I'm saying is right. That what we experience in the short run, while it's painful, isn't permanent. And second of all, it really doesn't affect our plan. That we're able to continue to do what we do because these have been factored in. Now, I can't say that for everybody, but a lot of the time that's true. So maybe before the market decline, the likelihood of you running out of your money per the planning that we do was 15%. And now it's 17%. That's not a reason to worry. It's not. I mean, if I told you there's an 80% chance of rain today, it's probably going to rain. And the same is true when you're trying to plan for the future. So we know these negative years are going to happen. We factor them in. The most important thing is for you to stick to the plan. Because if you're not going to stick to the plan, if you're going to spend more money than I recommended that you spend, and the markets go down, it's going to hurt even more. And I can't be a party to that. So stick to the plan. But it doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you're doing. It doesn't mean you have to live your life in fear. You shouldn't. If I bring you any value as your advisor, it's to alleviate fear, to alleviate worry, to show you that there's a strategy. Now, every once in a while, I have to have a come to Jesus meeting with a client. I'll admit that. Not too often. And in that meeting, I have to say, look, you ain't doing what I asked you to do. But if you're doing what I'm asking you to do, keep doing it. If you have concerns, reach out. If you haven't scheduled your review, you should. We've tried to reach out to every single client for the summer. Most of you, pretty good. Some of you, not so good. Don't worry, we'll chase you down. We'll find you. But the point here is that we go through these tough economic times. And our conscious minds, as you may know, you have actually two parts to your brain. You have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. It's actually one of my favorite subjects to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it. Your subconscious mind runs 24/7. It's what controls your bodily functions. There's only two bodily functions that you have that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind can control: breathing and blinking. It's true. Everything else is done by the one or the other. So I want to scratch myself. That's my conscious mind. But my heart beating, I'm not doing that. That's my subconscious. Now, your subconscious also has all the information that you ever need in life. In fact, it's been said you really don't forget anything. You may suppress it, but it's there. And if you've ever seen examples, or maybe from you in your past, playing a sport, and you're in what we call the zone, or you see an athlete in the zone, they just can't make a mistake. That's because their subconscious is running the show. They're not allowing the conscious mind to get in the way. The conscious mind likes to worry. The conscious mind likes to keep you up at night and say, what if this happens? What if that happens? It's the reason why a lot of people take anti-anxiety medicine, to control the conscious mind. The subconscious doesn't worry. The subconscious does what you tell it to do. So when we are going through difficult economic times, it's very important that we control what our conscious mind is seeing and doing. I talk a lot about putting yourself on an information diet. I don't mean for you not to read or follow the news, but as what do I always say? Read it. If you can read it and not watch it, do it. Because when you watch it, you watch it too long is what happens. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. You're miserable. You can read it once, that's it. You're informed. Then allow your conscious mind to be involved in other things. Meditation, very, very important. Again, I'm not trying to get mystical with you, though there's really nothing mystical about meditation. Meditation really is nothing more than a form of relaxation, physically and mentally. If I get into a very comfortable position, close my eyes, and just focus on one thing, for example, my breathing, and actually just think about breathing. And every time another thought enters my mind, I move it out and I go back to thinking about breathing. If you just do that for 2-3 minutes a day, incredibly relaxing, incredibly. And it'll allow you to maintain your positive focus. I read a book not too long ago that was written by a former monk, and he's talking about the monks that he lived with in India and how happy they were. They had absolutely nothing. I mean, that you get 2 robes, one to wash, one to wear. But you're basically living a life of poverty. And they are some of the happiest people in the world. Why? Well, because there's one thing they do quite often is they meditate. They control their thought patterns. And as a result, they're very helpful. Or they're very happy. Now, what does this all have to do with markets and all this? Well, again, I can tell you all day long, markets come back. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to do something silly. And I will continue to do that. But you need to do your part. And relaxation is a big, big part of that as well. So a lot of great articles you can read on this. The conscious mind, the subconscious mind, quieting your conscious mind with meditation. If you do that, life will improve. I speak from experience. Meditation and the use of your subconscious mind isn't going to change the laws of physics. I think sometimes, there was a book a few years ago called The Secret, which kind of made it sound like it was this genie in a bottle. If I just visualize someone giving me $1 million tomorrow, it's going to happen. Now, I'm not buying into that. But I do know that I can control myself. And I do know that if I get out of my own way, I can live a better, more healthy life, and encourage you to do the same as well. Lots of books on that. I'll give you my favorite one is it's an old one. It's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. But there are others in there. If you ever want to talk more about that stuff, happy to do it. But I want you to be positive. I want you to remember money's replaceable. Time is not. If I can be any assistance to you, please reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.